Mono-Black Belcher. That's the legacy deck that we're playing today, and you might not believe me, but I think it might even be better than Saga Storm. Let's go check it out. This video is proudly sponsored by Card Market. This is Legacy Mono-Black Belcher, and it's a donation deck from Velgrim. Velgrim, thank you for your longtime support. I really do appreciate it. So this deck, in my opinion, is a masterpiece, and I'm not just saying that it's fluff. I actually believe that it's true, and I believe that this is probably better than Saga Storm. So what Saga Storm does well, in my opinion, is that it's able to convert things like Fel the Profane into fodder for Chrome Mox. So that way, when you spin your Echo of Eons, you're actually exiling some of the lands from your deck to increase your percentage of winning, because you're less likely to draw into a bunch of lands. So that's actually really nice. Well, this deck is also running Unmask, which is something that Saga Storm could adopt going forward. So Unmask allows you to exile other lands in your deck like Agadeem's Awakening or Boggart Trawler, so that way you get to have one free protection, so that way you're not wasting mana on something like Duress, so that way you're more likely to be able to entomb into Echo of Eons and win on the first turn. Okay, we like that. So it also removes more of these extra lands. And Saga Storm doesn't have that luxury because it's playing Vault of Whispers, Basic Swamp, and Urza's Saga. If you caught my video from Monday, which you can find in the card above, I did record Black Saga Storm, and my conclusion at the end was that Urza's Saga didn't feel as powerful as it has in the past. It kind of felt underwhelming to me. This deck doesn't have that problem because it's not playing any lands, which means that we can win with Goblin Charbelcher consistently. And by consistently, I mean 100% of the time, because there's no lands to reveal to the Belcher. It also gives you a nice plan B for Beseech the Mirror. So you do have the classic Guy's Will loop with Tendrils of Agony, but you could also put Goblin Charbelcher in a play and then just win the game. So you have a built-in way to beat Graveyard Hate that always wins the game, and I think that this deck is just really smart. So you take the best thing from Black Saga Storm, which is Entomb plus Echo of Eons, but then you make it even better with Unmask and Goblin Charbelcher. Velgrim, really? I do think that this deck is quite brilliant. In the sideboard, you have the Leyline of the Void plus Dauthi Voidwalker plan, along with Helm of Obedience against graveyard strategies, so there's so much to like about this deck list. Well, what's its flaws if it's so good? Well, I think it's probably weak to Collector Oof, and then things like Deafening Silence. So we have Feed the Swarm, which answers both as a 2-of. You have Dismember, and then Ratchet Bomb. So I think if I had to pick out something it's actually weak against, it would be exactly the card Null Rod, because there's no good way to answer artifacts if you're mono black. So if you're trying to beat this mono black Belcher deck, Null Rod would be the card, not Collector Oof, not Deafening Silence, because there is Ratchet Bomb and Feed the Swarm for Deafening Silence, but I think the deck is fairly weak to Null Rod itself. That said, no Magic deck is perfect, and you just need it to be good enough. So hopefully today it is good enough and we crush, because I do think that this deck is quite powerful. Let's see how it does in its first league. I'll see you in the first match. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1. We're on the draw. I've opened up a hand here that has 2 lands, Belcher. Like, this hand's just very clunky. I think we're going to send it back just for something a little bit more smooth. Alright, so you have Entomb for Echo, which means we could bottom the Echo and then exile the Tendrils to like unmask and then try to win with Belcher at some point. We'd have to hit a blue mana. We'll keep this and bottom the Echo. Or is it better to bottom Tendrils in case I draw Chrome Mox? Yeah, let's try this, because then I could maybe exile Entomb or something else. Or opponent with a mulligan to 4. Ancient Tomb, Simian Spirit Guide, Magus of the Moon. Well, that's not very nice. Yeah, alright. So we need to draw into Lion's Eye Diamond. I'm not going to concede. I think that this game is winnable. We will unmask them, see what else they decided to keep. Get out of here, Trinisphere. You don't need that. I'm a little surprised that they kept Magus over Trinisphere on the first turn. I would have played the Trinisphere if I were them. Because I can still win this game through a Blood Moon. I can't win it through a Trinisphere. We'll take a draw. Another Echo. Pass the turn. They draw another land. Alright, we'll take 2 more down to 16. So they're probably Gruul initiative based on the Wooded Foothills. Is that a win? So we would imprint Entomb, Dark Ritual, Beseech the Mirror for Gaia's Will, and then we can't do anything. We're close to a win. We'll pass. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Okay. We'll take 2. I'm at 14. Lotus Petal. That is a win. Okay. We're going for it. Imprint the Entomb. Dark Ritual. We're going to sacrifice the Lotus Petal for a black. Beseech the Mirror, sacrificing Chrome Mox. We'll grab the Gaia's Will. Select it and click. Sorry, I'm dealing with some lag still. I might need to restart Magic Online. Dark Ritual. Lotus Petal. Play the Chrome Mox. We'll imprint Echo of Eons. Beseech the Mirror with Bargain. And now we'll select the Tendrils of Agony that I chose to put on the bottom. Alright, so good to see that came up as a relevant decision. Well, I guess it could have been the Echo in my hand and everything would have been the same, but I don't know. We got that extra storm, not that it mattered. Alright, so we've stolen game number 1 from Gruul Initiative. We probably want Dismember. Take out Duress on the draw, maybe. You might want Feed the Swarm for Leyline of the Void. Take out like 2 Thoughtseize. We could try this. Alright, game number 2. We've opened up a very good hand we will keep. I'm hoping for no turn 1 artifacts here. From the opponent, that is. Leyline of the Void. We do have Feed the Swarm. So we can Feed the Swarm on turn 1 into an Echo. They play a Mountain. We have Thoughtseize. So let's play our land. And I think I'm going to Thoughtseize now that I've drawn it, so we don't play in a Force of Vigor or Mindbreak Trap. They have Broadside Bombardiers that they could have played on turn 1 and didn't. We'll take that. So I could imprint the Fell the Profane. I could actually Echo right now, but I think it'd be a mistake, so we're going to pass. And the reason I think that it's a mistake is, why would I refill my opponent's hand for an Echo with like 1 mana floating? It doesn't seem worthwhile. We draw Belcher. Do we have 4 mana here? I believe we do. So I can play this as my land. Play Chrome Mox, imprint Feed the Swarm. Mox Opal. Lion's Eye Diamond. Goblin Charbelcher. This is what I'm talking about here. Pew pew! Target you. Nice prison deck. Does it come in playable? Hi-oh. I'm just joking. I'm sure that joke probably upset someone. It's just a joke. I'm just happy that I won. Alright, that is match number 1. We are now 1-0. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Round number 2, we're on the draw. I've opened up a hand where we have 3 mana, triple protection, and a Goblin Charbelcher. So I would like to draw some mana here, which is what our deck is full of, and in the meantime, we can slow their game plan down. So I like this. They have 4 cards remaining in their hand. We draw another Belcher. Kind of a stinky draw. Alright, so let's play Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal. We'll play Mox Opal and a Thoughtseize. We'll take the Green Sun Zenith. And they can play Nadu next turn, so let's unmask them. And we'll take the Nadu. So they have Quirion Ranger and a Hedge Maze. My best draw is like Dark Ritual into another mana. They play the Hedge Maze. They put a Shepherd to the graveyard. Alright, so we don't know their last card in hand. They'll swing. We're still in a spot to win this. Gaia's Will. That was not very good. I guess we'll suspend. Pass the turn. The opponent with 2 unknown cards now. And they drew another Nadu. So they can trigger it here with the Quirion Ranger, and then they can trigger it again on my turn. They find a Chord of Calling, and now they can play it to go grab Nomads. Insane. Those were 2 very good rips in a row. We've lost this game now. I'm going to save myself some life equity and just concede. It happens. So we'll go to the next one. I believe we want Dismember. We'll take out Duress on the play. Probably want Feed the Swarm. I don't know what I'm supposed to sideboard out, though, is the issue. Maybe we'll just do Feed the Swarm on the play. And then on the draw, I'll board out 2 copies of Thoughtseize. Alright, so on the play, this hand is short on mana. We'll mulligan. This is a turn 1 Belcher pass. Hope that they don't have Force of Vigor. We'll get rid of Entomb. We'll play the Agadeems. Chrome Mox, Imprint, Dark Ritual, play out the Lotus Petal, play Belcher Pass. Alright, no Force of Vigor. Savannah, Noble Hierarch. We draw the Gaia's Will, of course we do. That card loves me. There's no card in Magic the Gathering that appreciates me like Gaia's Will, let me tell you. It just always wants to be in my hand. Okay, so we have 1 game number 2. Sweet. Now we'll bring in Dismember. Cut a Thoughtseize, and another Thoughtseize. I think 6 protection should be fine. This hand is all gas, but nothing to do with it. I mean, if you draw Entomb, Belcher, Beseech, Echo, those are... So you have 16 hits that I can think of, and this hand is off to the races. I believe you're supposed to be disciplined in mulligan. So I think we keep this. Bottom a land. So you could pitch Dismember. This is a turn 1 Echo with Unmask. The opponent with a mulligan to 4. Now down to 3. Okay. Tropical Island. Noble Hierarch. They have 1 card. We'll play our land. I think I would like to unmask them. Get out of here, Collector Roof. And then let's Dismember their creature. Pass the turn. So they're in top deck mode. They have 1 card in their hand. They pass. Spell the Profane. I'm going to play this tapped and pass. Like, we don't necessarily need to do anything here. Like, I'm probably going to end step Entomb, and then we can play Echo next turn when I have more mana. End step Entomb. Select Echo of Eons. They have 2 cards. We drew Belcher. That's pretty good. Dark Ritual. Goblin Charbelcher. Okay. You have 2 cards. They had Force of Vigor! No! Alright. So now I need to draw blue mana for this Echo. Brutal. Okay, so we're actually in a similar spot here. And there we go. Okay. Let's spin. Storm 2. So this is another Echo. We will unmask them. Exiling Unmask. Take Endurance. Lotus Petal. Mox Opal. Dark Ritual. Lines at Diamond. Entomb. We'll grab another Echo. Add a blue. We'll add blue here. This way I can theoretically hardcast an Echo if I were to draw one. By leaving 1 blue floating. Storm is 9. We'll play Dark Ritual. Play our land. Let's play Belcher. If it resolves, I mean, feeling very good. And they concede. Nice. All right, so pretty quick 2-0 this league so far. The deck feels incredible. I have a feeling we might go the distance with this one. Let's see if that happens. Stick around for match number 3. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Alright, it's time for the 3rd round. We're on the draw. We've opened up a hand that has no action but an unmask. You're supposed to mulligan these. Okay, this is turn 1 double protected Echo. We'll bottom Beseech the Mirror. Okay, what are you playing? Prismatic Vista for an island. Cameo Inquisitive Student. Well, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to flip that for you. And people say that I'm not generous. I just don't understand. Alright, we'll play the Trawler as a land. And let's unmask. And I think we want to keep the Beseech the Mirror. We'll exile a Duress. Flame of Anor and Legacy, huh? We'll take that Daze. Play the Lines of Diamond. Let's get a new hand. Spin that wheel. Alright, the Tamiyo flips. We are 1 mana short of being able to Beseech. So we have to pass. My best draw next turn would be... no, even Unmask, I don't have the black cards. So we have to hope our opponent just doesn't have counter magic. That doesn't feel great. Another Tamiyo. Entomb. Honestly, that was pretty good. We'll Lightning Bolt ourselves again. So now what I can do is next turn, well, on their end step, I'm going to Entomb for an Echo. And then on our next turn, we can try to double pressure them with Beseech the Mirror with an Echo in the graveyard. So the Tamiyo will attack, they get to create a clue. And the reason I Lightning Bolted myself here is I don't want to play into Daze. We did see Daze when we played Unmask on turn 1. They play Ponder. If they draw another card, they're going to flip their Tamiyo. That is not a May ability, it is a must. We will play Entomb. Play Echo of Eons to the graveyard. Now we'll untap. Fell the Profane. We'll play another Aghadeem's Awakening untapped. Let's try Lotus Petal. Chrome Mox. We'll imprint Fell the Profane. Lines of Diamond. We'll play another Lines of Diamond. And Beseech the Mirror with Bargain, sacrificing Chrome Mox. Storm is 5. They do have a Force of Will, exiling Tamiyo. So this is a calculated decision on whether or not you would like to discard both Lines of Diamonds. My ability to win with both is so much higher, but if they have another Force of Will here, we probably just lose. So I'm going to choose to keep 4 available mana open, but if they have another Force, we're in trouble. They fetch with the Arid Mesa, Volcanic Island, Spell Pierce, will pay 2 mana now. They Daze, will pay Echo, and it does resolve. Unfortunately, we drew into garbage. I have to pass the turn. So best case scenario is that we will draw a Belcher or Beseech the Mirror next turn, and then try to force through a win using Unmask. I would also take an Echo of Aeons or Entomb, but Belcher or Beseech the Mirror would be our best draws. They plus the Tamiyo again. So next turn, they're going to draw half their library. We need to draw something now. Okay. Main deck Spell Pierce is a little weird, but then again, so is Flame of Anor, so not terribly surprised. Another Ponder. They shuffled on that Ponder. Come on, deck. Entomb. Okay. So we'll play Lotus Petal. Mox Opal. Let's unmask them. Force of Negation. Okay. We'll add a blue. Mox Opal. They either have another counterspell or they don't. I can't afford to sit here and wait. So this is it. Another Chrome Mox. Entomb. We'll grab Echo of Aeons number 3. Flash it back. 2 open mana. It resolves. Okay, so the downside, we did not find a protection spell. So if they have a Force of Will, we lose. Or Force of Negation. We'll play Mox Opal. Play Dark Ritual. Lion's Eye Diamond. We'll play a land. I go to 8. Beseech the Mirror with Bargain. Sacrifice a Chrome Mox. And they had a Force of Will. Exile Supreme Verdict. Okay, so we lose game number 1. I'm not going to sit here and lose to them drawing half their deck. We can just go to the next one. We don't really have much in the sideboard. So we'll resubmit. I don't think you want to bring in anything here. Like, we just want to be a better combo deck. Game number 2, we're on the play. This is a little weird, but we'll keep. So the reason that it's a little weird is I'm a few mana away from casting Belcher. My best draw by far would be like Dark Ritual. We'll play Agadeem's Awakening as a land. Thoughtseize. We'll take the Consign to Memory. We can beat Spell Pierce. Pass the turn. Blooded Strand. Entomb. So I can jam an Echo here. I feel like we're probably supposed to. Lines at Diamond. Let's see if they Spell Pierce. They fetch. And they do Spell Pierce. I will pay. And they drew Days for turn, so we will lose a Lion's Eye Diamond. I'm going to play out the other one in case they draw into Surgical Extraction, so we know their whole hand right now. It's 3 lands, one of which is a Volcanic Island, and a Flame of Anor. So if I draw a land for turn, well, not anymore because of this Wasteland draw, I would have been able to play Belcher. So we're back to the point where I would like to draw Dark Ritual. Mox Opal. We'll pass. So I could, once again, Echo of Eons here. That said, I'm 1 mana away from being able to Goblin Charbelcher win, and I think that's probably better. They play Flooded Strand, so they have 1 unknown card. And we drew a land, so I can try to play Belcher here. We'll play Chrome Mox. Imprint Entomb. We'll play Mox Opal. Play Goblin Charbelcher. What was your 1 unknown card? It resolves. Target you. And that's game number 2, so now we're off to game 3. I think I'm fine just resubmitting the same configuration. It's just, I don't think you want to try Dothy Voidwalker or anything like that. It just feels like a trap to me. Game number 3, we're on the draw. We've opened up double Entomb, no blue mana, no protection. I believe you're supposed to send this one back. Alright, so we'll keep this. Bottom the guy as well. This doesn't actually have a way to cast the Echo. That said, you have 3 lands, you have a protection spell. Like, you're hoping that this hand can punch a hole through at some point and then try to win. We'll play Agadeem's Awakening as a land, pass the turn. They search out an island, and cycle a Lorien Revealed. They grab Volcanic Island. Okay. Unmask. I mean, I don't mind the Unmask draw. So my best draw now would be Lion's Eye Diamond, or even Entomb. If I draw Entomb, I could imprint this Echo of Eons for the blue mana. They have 6 cards. Lotus Petal. So I could play out the Boggart Trawler as a land, or I can hold it for Unmask. I'm going to pass, because another option we have is next turn I could draw discard the Echo of Eons to hand size. They brainstorm with a Prismatic Vista in play, so now they get the perfect brainstorm searching out what I would guess is a Plains. No! They grab Island. Okay. Cameo Inquisitive Student. Beseech the Mirror. I could try to move in for a win. Play Lotus Petal. Let's try Unmask. Exile the Boggart Trawler. We have to hope that they don't have 2 pieces of interaction. Well, 3 pieces. I could beat 2. So we know that they have a Force of Will because they just paid life. The question is, are they actually going to cast it, or are they going to reveal their hand because they've undone their decision? So I know that it's there now, but the question is, do I get to look at your hand or not? And now they're deciding that it resolves. So Flusterstorm, Force of Negation, Force of Will, Red Elemental Blast, Prismatic Ending, Thundertrap Trainer. Well, we'll take Force of Negation. I'm going to lose my Lotus Petal to this, but I guess they don't have it. The white mana right now. We'll take Force of Negation. Thoughtseize. So they could Fluster this, and they do. Maybe I was supposed to take the Flusterstorm with the Unmask, because now they have a Force of Will. That's kind of annoying. Yeah, I was probably supposed to take the Flusterstorm. Alternatively, I could Dark Ritual pay, and then take the Force of Will, leaving them with just Trainer, and then I would need to draw a mana next turn for the Beseech. I think that's the move. We're going to Dark Ritual. We'll pay, we'll pay, we'll pay, and now we'll pay. Alright, back to Thoughtseize. We'll take Force of Will. So they have Red Elemental Blast, Thundertrap Trainer, Prismatic Ending. I'm just hoping to draw a mana next turn. Thundertrap Trainer. They find Brainstorm. They attack with Cameo Inquisitive Student. Let's see it. Entomb. That doesn't help me, and they have a Red Elemental Blast. We have to pass the turn. Alright, so now they'll attack. I'll take 1. They get to create another clue token. And they brainstorm. This will flip the Tamiyo, which means next turn they can get back a hard counter spell. I am in trouble. And now they ponder. They shuffle their library. They play a basic mountain. They forgot to plus the Tamiyo. Interesting. End step, let's entomb. We'll put Echo of Eons to the graveyard. So the question is, did they keep Red Elemental Blast? We'll play Chrome Mox. Imprint the Echo. Attempt a flashback. And they did keep Red Elemental Blast. Alright, we will pass. This time they remember the Tamiyo. They attack with the Thunder Trap Trainer. They have Flame of Anor for my Chrome Mox. That's embarrassing. Yep, so they destroy my Chrome Mox and draw 2. They draw into a Plains for the Prismatic Ending. We would have drawn the mana we needed. I have to pass. And now they can minus the Tamiyo and get back a counter spell, so we're probably dead. They plus the Tamiyo, so that's a sign of strength, saying that they don't need a counter spell. We draw a land, but that doesn't help me here because I can't Beseech the Mirror plus Bargain. And if I play Belcher Pass, they just get back Flame of Anor. Surgical on Thoughtseize. So they definitely have a counterspell. We'll play our land and pass the turn. So thinking back to that turn where I played the discard spell and didn't take Fluster first, my rationale at the time was that I was like, oh, well, next turn I might be able to Beseech the Mirror and pay for Fluster. But that's not how, like, I didn't consider them using the Fluster Storm on the next discard spell I played. And I don't know if that was a mistake in hindsight or not. They're up to 7 cards in hand. We draw Unmask. That's not good enough. We'll play the Unmask, target them. They play Force of Negation, play Lotus Petal. We'll play out the Goblin Charbelcher and, you know, hope for the best. We know that they have the answer, but maybe they mess up. And they have a consigned to memory. Okay, so we lost a round. I mean, it happens. Our opponent had a lot of interaction in their deck, to their credit. Like, we're a deck with 10 discard spells, and it did not feel like enough against all of their interaction. We saw Spell Pierce, Daze, Fluster Storm, Consigned to Memory, Force of Negation, Fluster Storm, Red Elemental Blast, Prismatic Ending, Flame of Anor. Like, it was a lot. But they got me. It happens. We are now 2-1. You're still watching. Make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. The fourth match on the play. Let's try to bounce back. This is a turn 1 Echo of Eons. I have no idea what our opponent's playing, but I'm going to keep it. So you do have an interesting decision here. I don't know what they're playing. But you could imprint the Trawler. That way you still have a land drop post Echo, assuming that the Echo resolves. And then that allows you to cast Dark Ritual. Or you could imprint Dark Ritual and the Trawler. And then you end up with a couple mana sources post Echo. Or, well, if they Force of Will you, you have a couple mana sources to recover with. My issue with that line is, what good is 1 Chrome Mox and 1 Mox Opal? Like, I feel like it's a little flawed, so instead I'm going to just try to shove and maximize my chance of winning on if something resolves. Well, actually, I guess I could even flashback Echo here without sacrificing the diamond, which isn't something I considered. That's interesting. We'll grab Echo, and yeah, I guess we don't even have to sacrifice the diamond. I'm just going to spin. They have a Force of Will. We will pass. So we have 3 more Echoes and 3 more Entombs that we would like to draw into here. We draw a land, we'll play it. So now we're only 1 mana away from Goblin Charbelcher or Beseech the Mirror being good. They search out Underground Sea, cycle a Troll of Khazad-dûm, and I don't mind trying to force check Dimir Reanimator. If you listen to the Eternal Glory podcast, and well, you should, I talked about it this week. They play a criminally low amount of mana sources, or I'm sorry, of blue mana, or Bryant, use your words, blue cards to pitch to Force of Will. A lot of lists are playing 16, 17 blue cards. It's actually just not enough. We draw Belcher, so Dark Ritual just became our best draw. They play Undercity Sewers. Gets rid of Basic Island. 1 Dark Ritual, please. Lotus Petal. So now we're just 1 mana away. Instead, they cycle another Troll of Khazad-dûm. They find another Undercity Sewers. They play it. 3 cards remain in their hand. If they have another way to reanimate here, it's actually 1 turn faster. Because right now, I get 2 more turns. If they have another reanimate effect, I'm dead next turn. And they do. So now I have to draw a mana here. Let's see it. Pretty please. Always Guy as well. Why? Why Guy as well? Ah, you are the worst. Okay. I hate Guy as well so much. And if they didn't have the animate dead, we would have had it next turn. Ah. I can't get away. Guys will just, wants to be my friend. We're bringing in the anti-graveyard package. Ay, ay, ay. What to sideboard out? I think I'm going to get rid of the guy as well. Which means we can board out the tendrils. And now we're at 67. You could probably take out at least 1 Goblin Charbelcher. Maybe you're allowed to board out like 1 of each Mox. And then what about Entomb? Is that crazy? I'm going to try this. I don't have a definitive plan, but this seems fine enough to me. Sure, we'll keep Leyline of the Void. We'll play Boggart Trawler. Pass the turn. So we need some mana here. Misty Rainforest. And I could have played the Unmask on turn 1, but I want to save it for trying to force through a Belcher. Helm of Obedience. So our draw ended up being a little clunky here. They search out Undercity Sewers. And they get rid of a Consign to Memory. Okay. Polluted Delta. Dothy Voidwalker. Okay. Beseech the Mirror. I think I'd like to unmask you. Actually, hold on. If I do that, they get my unmask. Which might be fine. Yeah, let's unmask them. Oh, they have a bunch of consigns. That's why. We'll take Brainstorm, and then let's play Chrome Mox now. Pass. They draw Thoughtseize, so they're all effectively the same card here. Like, Helm is slightly better, but not by much. Oh, no. Okay, I guess they would need another Dothy Voidwalker. Because if they had another Dothy Voidwalker, they could play the Voidwalker and then use this Voidwalker to put my own Helm into play and then deck me. We'll take 3 from the Dothy Voidwalker. We'll Thoughtseize. Take the Ponder. Like, I could have taken Consign to Memory, but I think those aren't problems for right now. Those are problems for the future, and I just need to stop them from advancing. So we'll take 3 to here, down to 12. Thoughtseize puts me down to 10. We'll take Consign to Memory. My fear is that I'm running out of time now. Like, we needed to draw mana this game, and it has not happened. Okay. I'm at 7. I'm afraid we're not going to get this one. So they're about to knock me down to 4. Yeah, we just didn't... Our deck didn't function this game. So, I mean, I drew like 3 Thoughtseize, 2 Thoughtseize, plus just beatdown from Dothy was good enough. Yeah. Bummer. So I guess if I draw Dark Ritual next turn, I could try something, but I'm not even sure what that would be because I sided out the guy as well. And they have a consign. Yeah, we're just dead. That was a rough one. Okay, so we've cooled off a little bit these last 2 matches. I thought I conceded. But we're 2-2. I still think that this deck is really good. I mean, maybe my board plan here was a little clunky and that could have been part of the issue. Maybe I shouldn't have kept a hand that was so clunky despite it having Leyline of the Void. I'm not sure. But I'm going to try to win that 5th and final match and see how we feel after that one. The best Legacy podcast? That would be Eternal Glory featuring myself, Bryant Cook, alongside Brian Koval and Phil Gallagher. We're available on all major podcast platforms and YouTube. What an end to a league. We are facing the one and only Bosch and Roll. We're on the draw. They've taken a mulligan. We have Unmask, we have Entomb, Dark Ritual, and a land. The problem here is that the rest of my hand doesn't do anything. So if I draw another mana source, I can put Belcher on the table and then just try to draw more mana. And Beseech would be my exile card here. Or if I draw a Lotus Petal, we can Entomb. You know what? I'll keep this. It's a little risky, but I think the potential is there. Delver Secrets. What? Illegal. Lion's Eye Diamond. So this just became a protected Echo of Eons on turn 1. Alright, so we will unmask. Exile Beseech the Mirror. Brian, come on. What are you doing to me over there? This is insane. Oh, wow. I guess we take Force of Negation? We'll pass the turn. I mean, I had a protected turn 1, not so much anymore. Mishra's Bauble was Brian's draw step. Looks at my top card. And Ponder. Does not shuffle. So the Bauble draws Lotus Petal. We'll play the Lotus Petal. Let's try Lion's Eye Diamond. Oh, I'm interested to see if Brian forces this. He does not. We'll attempt a Dark Ritual. That works. Entomb. Brian didn't fall for any of my bait here, so it's tough because if I had played Belcher, Brian dazes, and then I lose my hand. It looks like Entomb was forced. Okay. So honestly, that wasn't the worst. We'll pass here. I can't play Belchers, unfortunately, but I did keep a diamond, so anything we draw now, that like another Entomb and Echo, I can spin. I go to 13. Lotus Petal. So now we're just 1 mana away. The Force and the Daze are gone, so we know about a Chain Lightning. Brainstorm. Oh, Wasteland here is devastating. Okay. We'll take 3 down to 10. Redraw another land. Okay. We will pass. Tropical Island. So we know about Chain Lightning, and then there's 2 unknown cards. Diamond. We'll hang on to that one. No need to play that out a turn early. So this puts me to 4. So if I could draw an untap land here, that would help. Because currently that I can still put it into play untapped. Opal. So that I can beat a Daze here. Assuming that Mox Opal does not get countered. Okay, so Goblin Charbelcher and Prey. Brian, you've already had 2 forces. You don't need a third. Come on. No! Brian Koval with a 3rd force here. Technically, we're not dead. I could draw Dark Ritual. I could draw Entomb. Another Echo of Eons. So we have a few live draws here. I am dead if Brian draws a red mana, though. Brian Koval, everyone. Triple force. Had it the whole time. Noob. I'm joking. Brian's obviously a good friend of mine. But we lose game number 1. Okay. You know, our sideboard has nothing for blue decks. Velgrim, that's probably an area for improvement. But we're going to just resubmit. I do think that our deck might need something in the sideboard for blue decks, because right now, that's what we're losing to. We crushed the non-blue decks, and we seem to be struggling versus blue. So our sideboard is really targeted at Reanimator with 9 slots in there, which we lost to, by the way. And then answers to various things. We might need something for the blue decks. That's probably something we want to look at. What that answer is, I don't know right now. But I think that this deck has a lot of potential. I think that it's very good. But the sideboard needs it needs work. That's my feedback so far. Without even knowing how the rest of this match plays out. Game number 2, we're on the play. Once again, Guy's Will. So we have turn 2 Beseech the Mirror into like a Belcher, but no protection. I think I'm supposed to mulligan this into something even worse. We'll go to 5. This is a turn 1 Echo with protection. We'll bottom the Guy's Will, bottom the Beseech. We'll play Unmask. Exile Fell the Profane. Nothing there. We'll hit Consign to Memory. Lion's Eye Diamond. Chrome Mox. This is at least an empty Chrome Mox for Bargain or Middle Craft. And we'll spin Echo of Eons. Storm is 4. This Guy's Will, I hate it so much. We'll play our land. Ouch. Play Duress. Force of Will, double Pyroblast. We'll take the Force. Chrome Mox will imprint the Guy's Will. Play Mox Opal. Pass the turn. Plays Polluted Delta. Fetch. Great Channeler. Okay. End step, we will Entomb. Grab an Echo of Eons. We'll play Fell the Profane as a land. Ouch. And we'll flashback the Echo of Eons. Okay. Play Lotus Petal. And let's duress. Daze Meltdown. We will take the Meltdown. Pass the turn. Brian plays a Ponder. Gets rid of Murktide Regent. Shuffles. Plays Volcanic Island. And apparently drew another Ponder. Keeps a card on top. So my best draw is probably some sort of discard spell here. We'll take one from the Channeler. I go to 13. Boggart Trawler. We'll play the Trawler. Ouch. And Goblin Charbelcher. Brian drew a Force of Will. Yep. Exiles a Daze. So I can spin here. That's a choice we have. Or I can wait and have more mana. I think I'm going to wait. Alright, so Brian plays the Tropical Island. We're going to combat. I'll take 3 going down to 7. We draw another Agadeem's Awakening. We'll play our land. I'll go to 4. Let's make a blue mana. We'll play Mox Opal. So I can hardcast Echo here, and that might increase my ability to win on a following Echo. I think I like this. We still have 4 mana floating too. So something Brian can do is play Questing Druid / Seek the Beast and dig for like a Pyroblast. That appears what Brian's going to do. Put Scalding Tarn to the graveyard off Surveil. Brian reveals Wasteland Ponder to the Seek the Beast. Echo of Eons back on the stack. It resolves. Once again, no discard spell here. So we don't know about Daze anymore. We'll play Lotus Petal. So I cannot win this turn with Goblin Charbelcher. That is not possible. We'll play Mox Opal. And I think we're going to try spinning on Echo again. Force of Will. Okay, we have to pass. Ponder. Did not shuffle on Ponder. Plays Wasteland. Sure. Alright, so I'm going to take 1 here, which will shut off my lands from coming into play untapped. Which means that my hand actually loses to a Daze now. Brian has 7 cards in hand. We draw Lion's Eye Diamond. Let's play the Lion's Eye Diamond. I will attempt a Beseech the Mirror, sacrifice Chrome Mox. Put Goblin Charbelcher on the stack. Force of Will, exiling Delver of Secrets. Okay, well, we got lucky that we drew Lion's Eye Diamond because that allows us to spin Echo here. Storm is 5. And Brian has Pyroblast, so Brian got me. We're going to finish this league 2-3. That is not the world's best record. That said, I do think that this deck has a lot of potential. So, I mentioned that the sideboard needs something for blue decks, and I think that is still true. But I do wonder if maybe the duress should be something else. So, we have Thoughtseize and Unmask as our protection. Neither of those work super well with Echo of Eons because you're spinning your Echoes so much. So I can't help but wonder, and I could be wrong here, when you look at Black Saga Storm, which is what I recorded on Monday, or well, went live Monday, we have 2 Cabal therapies that I personally don't like. I don't like having to guess Force of Will or Force of Negation. We have a Duress and 4 Thoughtseize. So you have 7 discard spells. This list has 10, which felt like not enough versus the blue decks. So my point here is, could these Duress be defense grid? I don't know if grid is actually the answer in a consigned to memory world, but something that works better with Echo is my point. Because it feels like this deck list is very close, but having your Echoes refill your opponent's blue hand over and over again and you not being able to do anything about it did not feel particularly good. So that is why I'm thinking about defense grid over Duress. That's one spot. You could also like play 2 defense grid in the main, 2 in the board. And that means that your Echoes would be better in those matchups. So those are just thoughts. I don't know if it's the answer. Let me know what you think the answer is in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and as always, keep storming. Hey you, yeah you, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're interested, you can visit theepicstorm.com/donation decks to see your combo deck here on this very YouTube channel. You can even join me in a video in the Epic tier. It's totally worth it, I promise. And see ya. Thanks for watching.